Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Monday evening, October 14, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems, that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season, that's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:17 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:17 p.m. Jamaica time, so more than 30 minutes ago, we still have that code orange that now has a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. And we have a brand new code yellow, a brand new disturbance that has a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days right here across the southwestern Caribbean. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. Firstly, the clouds associated with that code orange, that tropical wave still trying to get its act together. We can even see the swirl associated with that area of low pressure, and we can see the clouds associated with what's to come of whatever that system is in the Western Caribbean, all associated with the Central American gyre. We know the Central American gyre has to do with a broad area spin across Central America that sometimes spins out some of these tropical systems in general. We shall see if we get something else to come forth from it. Either way, according to the Hurricane Center regarding this code yellow, let's zoom in to see what they've stated recently. A broad area of low pressure could develop over the southwestern Caribbean Sea by the middle to latter portions of this week. Some gradual development is possible thereafter if the system stays over water while it moves slowly west-northwestward towards northern Central America. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall is possible across portions of Central America later this week. And we see that they've given it a 0% chance of cyclone formation within the next 48 hours, that's the next 2 days, and a 20% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. But regarding this system now, this is the big deal right now that's on everybody's lips. As of their latest update, the Hurricane Center has stated a well-defined area of low pressure located over the central tropical Atlantic is producing occasional showers and thunderstorms. The system is currently embedded in a dry air environment and development is unlikely over the next couple of days. However, this system is forecast to move generally westward and environmental conditions are expected to become more favorable for gradual development by the middle to latter part of this week. A tropical depression could form as the system begins moving west-northwestward and approaches or moves near the Leeward Islands late this week. And we see that they've given the system a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days and a 60% chance of cyclone formation within the next 7 days. If we take a look at the close-up of this system, we can actually make out what's happening, the blow up of clouds associated with it right here, across the northwestern portions of it, across the eastern portions of it right here. We can actually make out the swirl before the sun was, actually went down in general. You can see it on the southern side of this broad mass of clouds and thunderstorms. And then we lost the sunlight in general, which explains why all of this turned from blue to black. But it's still right there trying to get its act together. We can even make out that strong upper level wind shear that was being battered by, which explains why it was struggling to develop. But considering that is moving more westward, it's definitely getting into an environment that could support development as it heads toward the Caribbean. And we're going to be looking at what the supercomputer models are showing. But even before we look at the supercomputer models, we need to see what the spaghetti models are showing regarding these systems. First, we're going to be looking at the EPS from the Euro, then the GFS, well, the GEFS. So we're still on track for the system to be moving more west, south, westward, and then pushing west and then northward. The Euro model, well, this is the ensemble prediction system from the Euro, expecting that this system should miss the Leeward Islands in general, then possibly go all the way back down into portions of Cuba, and it's definitely still too close for comfort, passing to the north of Jamaica right here, possibly becoming a tropical storm in the green or even hurricane status by as far out as the next 7 days or more. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. If we take a look at the GEFS, that's the ensembles or the spaghetti models from the GFS, we can see that it's definitely a bit more southward. So first of all, making that westward track, possibly clipping the Leeward Islands right here, anywhere from St. Bart's, Antigua and Barbuda, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, maybe Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, heading westward into Hispaniola, and look at that, possibly even making it southwestward into portions of Jamaica. We even see one model right here getting it all the way up to hurricane status in the yellow, even possibly a stronger hurricane with the reds right there. We'll see exactly what unfolds with that. The GFS has been consistent with this southwestward motion, and we know all of this has to do with the ridge of high pressure steering it across the United States right there, pushing everything from east to west, not forcing anything to move north at all. And regarding the intensity, we see that as early as the next maybe 48 to 72 hours, the next 2 to 3 days, it's possible that this system could develop into a tropical storm. We know tropical storm strength is about anywhere from 35 to 65 knot winds, and we see some of these models even making it as far as hurricane status in the yellow, one model even making it as far as major hurricane status in the purple, maybe category 4. But we're working with what majority of the models are showing, and for the most part, majority of them are saying tropical storm status. Some of them definitely in the hurricane status range in the yellow. We'll see exactly what unfolds as time goes on. Either way, this map from the Euro is showing the 12Z run that came out this afternoon. We're going to be looking to see what it does. Maybe something similar to what the ensembles have been showing, passing the Eastern Caribbean to the north. And first of all, we can actually make out all of the moisture across portions of the central to the Western Caribbean associated with that tropical wave that's going to be interacting with that broad area of low pressure across Central America. So there's a lot of rainfall in store for Jamaica as we set the stage for what's to come of this tropical system across the main development region. So as we go out in time, we even see that as we get into 18Z on Thursday, it's actually 1 p.m. on Thursday, still a lot of moisture being experienced across Jamaica. That's going to be the order of the day, starting tomorrow evening for sure, all throughout into Friday. Definitely going to be a wet week across Jamaica. The Euro model definitely confirming this. And look at this, we start to see the system right there passing to the north of the Eastern Caribbean, and then we see that it is right there. The isobars, the L, the dark greens, the yellows, the oranges, the reds represent that heavy rainfall to the north of Puerto Rico, passing to the north of the Dominican Republic. And then look what it does, it starts to go even more westward. Let's stop right there. It's right there to the north of Hispaniola by the last frame, the 168 hours, and we're just going to be going out to the 168 hours, just like what the Hurricane Center would do. And this is valid for 7 a.m. on Monday. This is where the Euro has it. Let us see what the GFS does in terms of its forecast. First of all, we see all of this moisture, the greens coming into portions of Jamaica associated with that tropical wave interacting with that upper level low, as well as that broad area of low pressure across the southwestern Caribbean. This is valid for 6Z on Wednesday, which is actually 1 a.m. Lots of rainfall in store for Jamaica as we set the stage for what's to come regarding this tropical wave. Alright, here we go. The latest run from the GFS, that's the 18Z, has the system kind of similar to what the Euro was showing, passing to the north of the Leeward Islands. The 12Z run had the system coming into portions of the Leeward Islands. We'll see what happens here. All right, there we go. Crashing into Hispaniola, exiting Haiti right there. And then we see that as we stop at 168 hours, the system seemed to have stopped itself, because look at that. Look at that. It's as if it's even meandering. It's not even sure what it's going to be doing. Either way, this is where the system is located at the end of the 168 hours on the GFS. This is where the system is located at the end of the 168 hours on the Euro. We have some differences still to work out, so we have to stay updated, because we know these models are going to be showing something different with each and every one until it is fine-tuned, and only time will tell exactly what the future holds in terms of the most accurate forecast. On the Euro, it's right there to the north of Hispaniola. On the GFS, it's right there to the south of Haiti, maybe getting ready to lash portions of Jamaica. Or is it going to be doing that thing where it starts to push northward again? Or is it going to be continuously steered by this strong ridge of high pressure across the United States? We can see all of the lines of equal pressure right here. And the only way to go would have been to the west, unless it's going to be lifting northward into that weakness. There's some kind of weakness right here. High pressure here, another high pressure here. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. And regardless of development of the system, we can see the patterns that both the Euro and the GFS models have regarding the rainfall. The Euro has most of the rainfall passing to the north, far north of the Eastern Caribbean. GFS has most of the rainfall coming into portion of the Leeward Islands, maybe most of it passing just north right there of it. Either way, we can see that there's a lot of moisture incoming associated with that tropical wave, that upper level low across the Central America region right there. So there's a lot of rainfall coming into portions of Jamaica this week, because this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid from now up until, let's say, October 19, early morning Saturday, October 19. And this is all of the rainfall that's expected starting tomorrow all the way up until then. Look at the dark reds, look at the purples. That represents 2 to 3 inches of rainfall in the GFS. Euro has that similar forecast right here for Jamaica. We'll see how that goes. Either way, some isolated flash flooding is definitely in the forecast for us. And we're going to be grateful for the rainfall. Hopefully we don't get in on the flash flooding. We don't want to hear any bad news, anyone washing away or drowning, whatever the case may be. What we want more than anything is the cool temperatures. And we know the next name on the list is Nadine. Hopefully we don't get Nadine. If anything, just a tropical depression, if not a strong tropical wave, to bring some nice rain and cool temperatures. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see that we still have that frontal system across the Atlantic, stretching into the Bahamas, southern Florida right there, stretching all the way up into the northern or northeastern portion of North Atlantic. A ridge of high pressure right here, another ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the Cabo Verde Islands. The tropical wave with the airflow pressure attached to it that the Hurricane Center is watching for a medium chance of development. And we have another tropical wave right here across the Central Caribbean, definitely affecting portions of Hispaniola as we speak. And it is this tropical wave that we saw on the infrared rainbow satellite image right here. Look at all the clouds, the thunderstorms associated with it, and we can definitely make out the upper level low pressure. If you've been following my other social media platforms, this is what we've been talking about. The tropical wave is definitely interacting with that upper level low, definitely making those clouds spin in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and all of this is expected to push westward and interact with this broad area of spin, that broad area of low pressure across the southwestern Caribbean, and all of this is going to be bubbling up and bringing more rainfall to portions of the central to the western Caribbean this week. So definitely some flash flooding is definitely going to be in store for a lot of us this week. And we can make it out even better right here on the visible satellite images. Look at the curvature of the upper level clouds and the upper levels of the atmosphere for sure. Definitely an upper level low interacting with a tropical wave right there. We can also see the clouds associated with that area of low pressure, and we can see the clouds associated with that code yellow across the southwestern Caribbean right there. And we can even make out the clouds associated with that frontal system across the northern portion of the North Atlantic right there. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean today later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Monday, October 14, 2024. It was stated that parts of eastern Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall on Monday, and then we would have had some afternoon rainfall across sections of some central, western, and southern parishes. And just for reference, we know eastern parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. And what ended up happening? As early as 5 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted right here on our Twitter page. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there, as you may post throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted. We know Cuban Doppler radar basically shows us the precise rainfall and the location, as opposed to satellite images. Satellite images can show cloud cover, and we can have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall. This is why the Doppler radar images are so good. And we saw that at around 5 a.m., we were definitely getting in on some amount of rainfall across sections of eastern Jamaica for sure, just as predicted. We see the greens, we see the yellows, we see all of that we know represents moderate to heavy rainfalls. We can see by the key on the right, definitely lashing portions of some eastern parishes in Jamaica, more so Portland than anything else at that time, even though we had some across St. Thomas earlier. And then as the day progressed, at about 2:55 p.m., the infrared satellite image was posted here on our Twitter page and our other social media platforms, highlighting the high cold cloud tops that we know represent the cumulonimbus clouds, the blues, the greens, the yellows, oranges, the reds, the blacks, not to mention the sparkling white dust that we know represents some amount of lightning strikes, if not lightning flashes. And at this time, we definitely had it affecting portions of Manchester, Northern Clarendon, St. Elizabeth for sure, sections of Westmoreland and Hanover as well, and even some thunderstorms right there out to sea associated with the moisture from that tropical wave interacting with that upper level low. And we've been getting in on a lot of lightning and thunder even since early this morning, even since last night, and even this evening. Definitely had some lightning, some thunder being seen across portions of the island for sure. And it's just going to be getting even worse as the upper level low pushes and inches closer towards the island. And we definitely highlighted this in our latest post on our Twitter page. We can see the clouds associated with that broad airflow pressure. We can see the clouds associated with that upper level low interacting with that tropical wave. And there's a lot more action to come. And it's only right because we're in the month of October, the wettest month of the year, so this kind of activity is very much normal. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the summer down, we can definitely make out what happened. That east-west low-level flow, low to mid-level flow. Then the thunderstorms built up. All of those high cold cloud tops across especially central and western parishes for sure. And we can see it all even better on the infrared satellite images. Look at the convection, look at the sparkling white dust, look at all the lightning strikes, lightning flashes across central and western Jamaica. And we even saw some of that at the last frame across portions of Trelawney, St. James, Hanover, section of Westmoreland, inland areas of Trelawney, and southern St. Anne for sure. And if we take a look at the Crossroads cam from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, if you don't know by now, we have a partnership with this channel. They show the Bagua Gorge, the Kingston Harbor, the panoramic city view halfway tree, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So if I were you, I'd subscribe today that you don't miss out. Either way, the Crossroads cam was definitely showing some amount of light to moderate rainfall affecting Crossroads. We see persons walking with their umbrella. We can see the vehicles with their windshield wipers on. Definitely wet soaking ground for sure. Just some isolated showers for sure, because we don't see that in the hills of St. Andrew. Just to indicate that we were getting that rainfall solely in Crossroad right there. But definitely some wet times, just to confirm the rainfall that portions of the corporate area was getting in on this afternoon at around 2:50 p.m. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had that rainfall. More than likely, this coloring that we see across eastern Jamaica was experienced this morning when we had that morning rainfall. Then in the afternoon, this is where we got the rainfall across central and western, especially western parishes. Section of northern Jamaica getting in on some of the action. Section of southern Jamaica getting in on some of the action. And we definitely have confirmation from one of our followers right here. _King Ryan _ stating state. Well, here stating raining in Hanover. That was posted 1 hour ago. And if we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image, we're looking at the latest still image. And this latest still image just came out at 5 minutes past the hour. And that is what? 7:05 p.m. So that was about 9 minutes ago. And we can still make out some thunderstorms lashing portions of Trelawney, section of St. James, Hanover. Lots of thunderstorms to the southwest of St. Elizabeth as well. And we even see the clouds associated with what was bringing some lightning to the south of St. Thomas a little earlier. Definitely saw some of that action from my house. And if we take a look at the very latest Cuban Doppler radar images, this is the latest image that just came out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 7 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can make out the greens that represent moderate rainfall. We can make out the yellows that represents heavy rainfall. We see that rain band right there to the south of Kingston before all was said and done. And we can even make out that rainfall still affecting portions of Westmoreland, Hanover, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, and Trelawney right there. Trelawney definitely getting nailed as we speak, with some strong thunderstorms for sure, some heavy rain right there exiting the coast. If we take a look at the Guantanamo Bay Cuban military or naval radar station, we can see some rainfall across southeastern Cuba, some rainfall across the western portions or the northwestern portion of Haiti, some rainfall right there to the north of Portland. And if we take a look at the Cayman radar, we can make out that rainfall that we just saw on the Cuban Doppler radar imagery. The rainfall right there to the west are affecting western Jamaica for sure as we speak. Section of Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, Trelawney definitely getting in on the brunt of that. Some of this rainfall definitely heading into Grand Cayman as we speak. Some of that rainfall to the south and to the west of the Cayman Islands as well. And if we take a look at the very latest from Flatbridge, we can see the latest as of 7:16 p.m. People going about their business, one bike right there, one truck right there. And we don't see the water rushing at all, just to indicate that we didn't get in on much rainfall upstream. Definitely fair conditions for the most part right there. Maybe the rainfall didn't, take place that drastically. As of right now, definitely fair weather conditions on the Flatbridge cam, and that should persist into tomorrow. But with the rainfall that's expected, all courtesy of the tropical wave, this should definitely change. Lots more rainfall in store before we wrap up the week. If we take a look at the temperature forecast, the temperature forecast for tomorrow, as a matter of fact, let's see if we can find the temperature forecast for right now. Alright, here we go. Alright, so in terms of the temperatures right now, we can see 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, And by about 4 a.m. on Tuesday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. If we take a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is showing 18Z on Tuesday. When calculated, that's about 1 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can see Jamaica right here, for the most part, embedded in some slight yellow colors. We're indeed grateful for that. The slight yellow colors are indicative of 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. 89 degrees Fahrenheit when calculated is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Tuesday. And we know the drill when it comes to beating the heat. We have to seek shade. If I were you, if I'm walking on the street, always walk on the side of the road with the buildings or the trees blocking out that sun. Always try to limit the non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And as usual, stay hydrated as much as possible. Drink water instead of all of those sugary drinks. Even if you're not thirsty, drink water instead. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast, let's bring it back up. Don't know why it shut down. Alright, so the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Tuesday, seeing that majority of it is definitely clearing out. The most Saharan dust is right there across the waters closest to Africa. We see some slight brown colors across portions of the Caribbean that won't even be noticeable at all. We're indeed grateful that we don't have that vigorous plume that can cause hazy skies, the dark browns that we know can cause hazy skies and trigger all of that asthma or sinusitis issues in some person. We're indeed grateful that whatever is left of the Saharan dust is definitely dwindling at this time. That's what we like to see. We don't like the Saharan dust at all. If we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we can see that much of the Gulf of Mexico into the Western Caribbean still getting in on those 0 to 0.5 meter wave heights, while the Central to the Eastern Caribbean getting in on those darker shades of blues that represents 1 to 1.5 meter wave heights. And that's because the winds are going to be stronger across the Caribbean. We see the brighter greens coming in from the east, averaging anywhere from 10 to 15, maybe to 20 knots. The lighter shades of blue greens right there into the blues across the Western Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, averaging anywhere from, let's say, 5 to 10 knots at most. But regarding what's expected across Jamaica within the next 24 hours, we definitely see that easterly flow that's expected across the island. So whatever comes off of the sea from the east, definitely for St. Thomas and Portland. And we see that the air should be piling up again across inland areas of some central and western parishes. That's where we're going to be having those low level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper level cumulonimbus clouds, when we have that daytime heating. And for tomorrow, the upper level low pressure is still going to be situated across the central Caribbean for sure. So we're still going to be on that western side with all of the thunderstorms, bringing all of those high cold clouds, pushing them off towards the south, definitely favoring more of that rainfall to southern parishes again. And regarding the rainfall forecast, now this is why we're here. This is what we want to see. So we can see that as of 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 4 a.m. Jamaica time, the Euro has a lot of blues that represent rainfall across the waters to the south of the island. GFS has the rainfall in and around the island. But where do we see the rainfall on land? For sure on both maps, we see that across eastern parishes. Definitely some isolated shores, maybe for a section of St. Thomas, maybe section of Portland too. Skipping ahead to about 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 8 a.m. Jamaica time. Still seeing much of the same, some isolated shores for eastern Jamaica. We see some of that rainfall to the south of St. Thomas on both maps for sure. And then as we head into the afternoon, look at this picture. Both Jamaica forecast maps from the Euro and the GFS models showing the rainfall that's expected for eastern, central, and western parishes in Jamaica for sure. And we see that on both rainfall forecast maps, 3 p.m. The afternoon definitely gonna be lighting up with some amount of rainfall for sure. Some isolated flash flooding could be possible. We see those darker shades of blues. Definitely gonna be getting in on some amount of widespread rainfall. And even as the night comes down, look at this. This is valid for 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 9 p.m. Jamaica time. And we're still seeing rainfall on Tuesday. Look at that. Even on the GFS, lots of blues represent rainfall on the southern and eastern side. Even northern Jamaica getting in on some of the action. Euro showing something similar, especially on the southern and eastern sides of the island. We'll see how that goes with that nighttime rainfall. Lots of us looking forward to that nighttime rainfall so that we can sleep like a baby on on Tuesday night. And we're indeed grateful for that. Hopefully we get the rainfall that's predicted. Even the accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that it's going to be raining somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. And this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Wednesday when calculated. That's all the rainfall that's expected from now all the way up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can definitely see what's in the forecast. Look at the greens, look at the yellows, look at the oranges. That represents all the way up to 0.66, maybe 0.67 of an inch of rainfall, stretching all the way from the east to the western end. GFS showing some slight reds across the western end, maybe 0.71 of an inch, close to an inch of rainfall. Euro definitely exceeding the inch of rainfall range across eastern Jamaica. That area around Kingston and St. Andrew may be picking up 1 to 1.5, 1 to 1.15 millimeter, well, 1 to 1.5, 1 to 1.15 inches of rainfall for sure. We'll see how that goes. Either way, the Euro, yeah, as usual, a bit more robust than the GFS. We'll take the rainfall. We're in the month of October. During this month, we usually receive up to 170 millimeters of rainfall. That's almost 7 inches of rainfall across Kingston. In Montego Bay, we usually receive up to 8.5 inches of rainfall. That's about 212 millimeters of rainfall. And keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish receives throughout the month of October or throughout the year for that matter, you can visit weatherandclimate.com. And you can use this as a graphic criteria that converts the rainfall and the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, so as stated, we have that tropical wave across the central Caribbean. Definitely interacting with that upper level low, bringing some thunderstorms to portion of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola. Some thunderstorms associated with that broad area flow pressure affecting portions of Panama, Costa Rica as we speak. We also see some activity across portions of the Yucatan Peninsula, sections of Guatemala too, and the usual troughs affecting portions of southern Florida, the Bahamas, and Cuba. Nothing new there. And we can make out that swirly that's expected to possibly develop the more west it goes. And if we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's unfolding as we speak, if it's gonna be loading for me. Alright, doesn't seem like it wants to load. Alright, I think it's loading. Alright, there we go. So we can see that not much taking place across the Leeward Islands, but we do see some moisture to the south and the west of Puerto Rico, the greens, the yellows within there, some moderate to heavy rainfall for sure associated with that tropical wave. If we take a look at the Barbados radar, we can see that flow from the northeast. Some of this rainfall could definitely make it into portions of Barbados tonight. We see some of that rainfall already affecting portions of St. Lucia, maybe affecting section of St. Vincent and the Grenadines later on tonight. Looking southward, we can already see some of that rainfall affecting Trinidad, and more of that to come maybe for Tobago later on tonight. And if we take a look at the weather view of Doppler radar images, we can see some rainfall across the western coast, well, the western portion of Cuba, section of the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, Belize, section of Nicaragua, definitely getting on some amount of rainfall tonight as this mass of thunderstorms pushes westward associated with what's across the southwestern Caribbean. We can also see some rainfall across portions of Colombia, Venezuela right there. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Wednesday when calculated. That's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Tuesday. And we can definitely see the greens, the yellows, the oranges that represents all the way from 0.2 all the way up to 0.75 for an inch of rainfall. The reds that represents up to 1 inch of rainfall, the purples maybe up to 3 inches. And we see the 3-inch range possibly for portions of, if not the waters to the east of Nicaragua, onshore across Nicaragua for sure. We can also see some rainfall in store for portions of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, section of western Venezuela getting in some of the action. Not seeing much across section of Guyana, but we do see some isolated shores for sections of Suriname, French Guyana, section of Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Barbados, St. Lucia, Martinique, Dominica, Guadeloupe for sure. Not seeing much across the Leeward Islands all the way over to Puerto Rico, but we do see some rainfall for Hispaniola, Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, Cuba, sections of the Bahamas, southern Florida, the Yucatan Peninsula, Belize, Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador for sure. I know that when both maps from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.